We may be seated. Your Excellencies, Mr. Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa, President of the Republic of South Africa, Your Excellency, President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, His Excellency, Dr. Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, Minister Slamula, Minister Murwira, ministers present from the Republic of South Africa and the Republic of Zimbabwe, senior government officials, and members of our media. It is my honor to welcome you to the fourth session of the South Africa-Zimbabwe Bi-National Commission, chaired by both Their Excellencies President Ramaphosa and President Mnangagwa. Your Excellencies, we will now commence with this session. It is my honor to request the chair of this fourth session of the Bi-National Commission, His Excellency President Ramaphosa, to address and make welcome and opening remarks at this session. Mr. President.
Thank you, Program Director. Your Excellency, President Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Honorable Ministers here present, Deputy Ministers from both governments, High Commissioners representing our two respective countries, senior officials, distinguished guests, officials, good morning. My brother, I welcome you and your delegation to the fourth session of our Bi-National Commission. This meeting testifies to the deep and historic relations between the peoples of Zimbabwe and South Africa. We meet, dear elder brother, in the aftermath of the tragedy on Lake Kariba, where the capsizing of a ferry claimed close on to 100 lives. Our heartfelt condolences go to you, the people of Zimbabwe, and to the bereaved families. May we all rise to observe a moment of silence for those who lost their lives in that tragedy. Thank you. Your Excellency, we are one people. Our spirits are inseparable. Our pasts have been shaped by shared culture, history, traditions, values, and language. Our future will be shared by aspirations. We stood together in the fight against colonialism, white minority rule, and apartheid. As South Africa, we will forever remember that the people of Zimbabwe gave us shelter, protection, support in the darkest times of our struggle. Since then, our countries have held high the values of cooperation and collaboration and partnership. Zimbabwe is one of our largest trading partners. Over the last 4 years, the value of our bilateral trade has almost doubled. However, there is a significant imbalance in trade between our two countries. South African exports are much more to Zimbabwean imports. Through instruments like the Memorandum of Understanding on Economic Cooperation, we need to work together to narrow this deficit. We must use the opportunities presented by the Africa Continental Free Trade Area to increase the volume and balance the composition of trade between our two countries. We must also enable both Zimbabwe and South Africa to expand the production and export of goods that we manufacture from our abundant mineral resources. We therefore look forward to the presentation of the ministerial report to this meeting, which will assess progress as well as to identify opportunities in each area, areas such as mining, energy, agriculture, transport, logistics, and water management. The growth of our economies and the expansion of trade rely on increased investment in infrastructure. We should be working together to build the bridges, the roads, the dams, the airports, the health facilities, and schools that will drive our economies into the future. Institutions like the Development Bank of Southern Africa and the Industrial Development Corporation stand ready to invest in high-impact projects in Zimbabwe. These are projects that cannot fail to create factories, and they cannot fail to ensure that our farms produce the food that goes to market. Projects that connect power stations to businesses and homes are what we need. We need projects that will draw water from our dams and rivers to taps that connect countries to their neighbors. Working together, we must convert our Zimbabwe's mining revenue continues to rise as the country increases investment in technology and upgrades its efficiency. With growing production of gold, platinum, and critical minerals such as lithium, which Zimbabwe has in great abundance, Zimbabwe is fast emerging as a global participant. South Africa is, we have said for many years, export finished products. Together, we need to put that aspiration into practice. Together, we need to deepen cooperations in energy. We have seen the value of the Southern African Power Pool. Now, we must embrace its potential to establish Southern Africa as a leader in the generation of clean, affordable, and reliable energy. There is great potential for cooperation on issues of water. The agreement to supply water from Zimbabwe's Beitbridge Water Works to Musina is one example of how we can work together to meet our people's needs and make our countries more resilient in the face of climate change. We must work together to ensure that all our people have enough food. Let us use our vast arable land for intensified production and support our communal and commercial farmers. I was deeply impressed by the 115th Zimbabwe Agricultural Show last year, where I saw some of the capacities, the technologies, the tools, the services that are available to industrialize farming, to make it more productive and resilient and sustainable. This is particularly important as we strive to expand our agricultural base amid accelerating climate change and the El Nino drought that erode our water sources and grazing land. As neighbors that have so much to offer each other, it is critical, Your Excellency, that we continue our cooperation on migration and border management. To ease the movement of people, we must modernize our facilities and systems. You have done extremely well in modernizing your border post in Beitbridge, and we should accompany you in tandem and modernize our side, which, as I looked on your side, it has eased the movement of people, of goods, and has made it a lot easier and time efficient for people and goods to travel through. We must also strengthen our combined efforts to counter transborder crime. The development we seek depends on the maintenance of peace and stability in our countries, in our region, and on our continent. We remain concerned about the ongoing conflict and instability in the eastern DRC and in the Cabo Delgado province of Mozambique, as well as the situation in Madagascar. We must also be concerned about civil strife and armed conflict beyond our region. The Sudan is of utmost concern given the grave loss of life, displacement, and suffering, and the challenges it poses to the Horn of Africa. We are also worried about the enduring impasse in South Sudan and the continued armed insurrection in the Sahel region. In a geopolitical environment that has become unpredictable and fractured, there is now even a greater need for the peaceful resolution of conflict, mediation, and dialogue. We congratulate Zimbabwe on its election as a non-permanent member on the United Nations Security Council for 2027-2028. We know that Zimbabwe will focus the world's attention on conflicts that are impeding Africa's development and mobilize global support for Africa's homegrown efforts to resolve them. South Africa and Zimbabwe stand together. We also stand together on the call for the lifting and elimination of all sanctions that have been targeted by a national commission, affirms our determination to deepen the bonds between our two peoples, to build inclusive economies that create work and sustainable livelihoods is our aim. We intend to build societies in which every person may equally enjoy the fruits of freedom. Our people people expect that this binational commission will deliver to declare that this fourth session of our binational commission is open, and that I look forward to having been told that your discussions amongst yourselves as ministers and officials were quite fruitful. We both sat in our tete-a-tete and looked at some of the documents and realized that you had agreed on nearly everything. And we wondered, why did you even want us to be here? So we were almost ready to say, why don't we go home, because they've done all the work. So we congratulate you on doing all the work, and we will take the glory. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. President. It is now my honor to request the chair, co-chair of the fourth session of the Binational Commission, His Excellency Dr. Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, for his remarks. Mr. President.
Thank you. Your Excellency, Matamela, Cyril Ramaphosa, Mashatile, Vice President of the Republic of South Africa, Professor Amon Murira, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Lamola, Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, of the Republic of South Africa, Honorable Ministers and the Africa, to the Republic of Zimbabwe, comrades and dear brother, younger brother, President Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa, according to me and my delegation, since our arrival to your beautiful country, we feel very much at home away from our home. The convening of this binational commission is timely and reaffirms the excellent historical relations that exist between our two sister republics. The bond between us is rooted in our ancestry and cultural ties, as well as shared and anti-colonial and anti-apartheid struggles. We also have similar aspirations for more prosperous economies and a higher quality of life for our peoples. Beyond the geographic border between us, Zimbabwe and South Africa are one people with a common past and inextricably linked destinies. The BNC is meeting following South Africa's successful hosting of the 46th Ordinary Summit of SADC Heads of State and Government, held in Durban. Congratulations once again for your assumption of the chairmanship of this strategic regional organization, my dear brother. The summit's theme on infrastructure development, agriculture and critical minerals transformation in pursuit of a just world is a vital reference point for our deliberations at this defining BNC. The decisions, interventions, and programs we shall agree on should significantly contribute to the broader regional industrialization agenda and integration efforts. Since the last BNC held in Harare in 2019, many developments have taken place, far-reaching consequences to global health security. While the various and over-reliance on nature, the country is a leading source market for South African tourism, while South Africa is Zimbabwe's second largest trade partner. Our mutually beneficial and win-win partnerships support each other's iron and steel industries, our agriculture sectors, as well as retail, wholesale, healthcare, and education sectors. Together, we are stronger. When South Africa thrives, Zimbabwe thrives too, and vice versa. In this spirit, the ongoing discussions between our two governments on leveraging high-impact priority projects to advance strategic economic projects are most welcome. This should result in concrete actions to boost cross-border manufacturing value chains, infrastructural development projects, and mineral value addition, among others. To further improve the current upward trajectory of our economic cooperation, increased efficiencies in the movement of goods and the people between our countries remains of critical importance. It is commendable that there is notable progress to operationalize the one-stop border post by the bridge Musina port of entry. The construction of the third Limpopo bridge is long overdue. Let us take bold measures and remove impediments so that this strategic project sees the light of day. Your Excellency and dear younger brother, I wish to reiterate that Zimbabwe is open for business. Numerous ease of doing business reforms continue to be undertaken by my government, including adoption of favorable tax regimes and incentives for investors. We stand ready to remove tariff and non-tariff barriers on a reciprocal basis towards facilitating increased trade and investment between our two countries. I call for stronger business-to-business linkages, which must also be alive to their obligation to ultimately help in creating jobs as well as empowerment opportunities for women, our entrepreneurial youths, and SMEs. The overall improved quality of life and the well-being of our peoples should remain a guiding beacon in the deliberations of key aspects of our BNC. Your Excellency and dear younger brother, agriculture remains the bedrock of our economies. We have the primary obligation to feed our people. More work is necessary to consolidate national food security and sovereignty, beginning at household level. Zimbabwe is ready to facilitate the training of agriculture extension workers for South Africa. I urge the responsible ministers to expedite the attendant processes. Meanwhile, it is encouraging that we continue to participate at each other's trade promotion events. These include the Zimbabwe Agricultural Show, to which you were the guest of honor in August 2025, as well as the National Maize Producers Organization Agricultural Show here in South Africa, the Cape Town Mining Indaba, as well as Zimbabwe International Trade Fair. I applaud the cooperation in the field of energy between ZESA and ESCOM towards strengthening energy security for sustainable industrialization and economic growth for our two economies. Your Excellency and dear younger brother, we can only achieve our economic development goals and aspirations in a stable, peaceful, and secure environment. In that regard, I wish to commend our defense and security authorities for their exceptional collaboration to combat transnational crimes, more so in the face of increasingly complex and diverse global security threats. While migration is a complex phenomenon, we believe that continuous diplomatic engagements and dialogue are the best way forward to find lasting solutions for the collective good of our SADC region. In recent months, our two nations have witnessed heightened exchanges in the heritage sector. I am most grateful to you, Your Excellency, and dear brother, President Ramaphosa, for the timely intervention in the repatriation of the Zimbabwe bird and 8 ancestral human remains, along with the all-time digital photographs. I say thank you to my brother, and thank you to South Africa. Your personal leadership and devotion in handling this delicate and sacred exercise demonstrates Pan-African solidarity and shared commitment to the restitution and rectification of past injustices. In September 2024, Zimbabwe handed over to South Africa 16 remains of South Africa's fallen liberation stalwarts who passed on in Zimbabwe during your country's fight against the brutal apartheid regime. My government is ready to facilitate phase 2 of the exhumation and repatriation program of formerly exiled South Africans who died in Zimbabwe. We are ready to assist my brother. I once again invite South Africa to participate in the Museum of African Liberation, which is being spearheaded by the Institute of African Knowledge in Stock. In our view, South Africa's heroic anti-apartheid struggle for the dignity of our people deserves to be appropriately curated and immortalized at the museum, alongside others of the continent. Your Excellency and a dear younger brother, allow me to express my gratitude to the government and the people of South Africa for the invaluable support towards Zimbabwe's selection as a non-permanent member of the United Nations Security Council for the period 2027 to 2028. Zimbabwe is prepared to serve with humility, integrity, and an unwavering obligation to the purposes and the principles of the United Nations Charter. We are also grateful for the consistent support which South Africa has rendered towards calling for the unconditional removal of the stupid and illegal sanctions imposed on our country. My dear brother, we thank you. Despite the negative effects of illegal sanctions in Zimbabwe's way, we say in Zimbabwe, ilizwe lakhiwa, libuswe, likhulekilwe ngabanikazi balo. Nyika inovakwa, igotongwa, konamatikwa nebene bayo. We all have the primary responsibility to build, develop, and industrialize our economies and our countries. Others may come to help us based on our national priorities and the unique circumstances. Let us never apologize for who we are. We must remain ourselves a proud, independent, and sovereign African people. In conclusion, I wish to thank you once again, my dear brother, younger brother, Your Excellency, for hosting this fourth session of our BNC. The signing of several instruments at this meeting requires our officials to implement all MOUs, agreements, and decisions with a greater sense of urgency. I reaffirm that my administration remains dedicated to work closely with South Africa at the bilateral, regional, and continental and international levels to advance our shared goals and aspirations. I wish us, my dear brother, fruitful discussions and impactful outcomes. God bless you all. I thank you.
Tatenda, Your Excellency, thank you very much for your remarks. Your Excellencies, with your permission, I will now request members of our media to take leave.